Okay, so I think we've all been there, right? Like
Hmm.
you suddenly get this burst of energy,
Yeah.
that motivation to finally make a change,
Yeah.
whether it's sticking to a workout routine for once, or maybe learning something totally new,
Right.
or even those like small everyday things that we know we should be doing, but somehow just never quite get around to.
Hmm.
And somewhere between that initial, like, I'm going to do this energy and actually like living our lives day to day, things kind of fizzle out.
Yeah, they
It
do.
happens to the best of us.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've got some really cool material all about how to build and maintain consistent daily habits.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like this roadmap to understanding how powerful those small everyday actions can actually be.
Right.
And more importantly, how to make them a real part of your life without it feeling like a constant uphill battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Our mission is to pull out those golden nuggets, the most effective strategies from all these resources.
Yeah.
So these ideas don't just sound good, but actually stick with you
Hmm.
and help you make some real positive changes for good.
That's the goal.
So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
What I find super interesting is that we all want to grow and become better versions of ourselves,
We do.
right? But there's this gap between wanting it and actually doing what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
The material we're looking at really gets that. It doesn't just stop at telling you habits are good for you.
Right.
It actually goes deep into the how-to.
It's like a manual.
Exactly, like a step-by-step guide instead of just relying on willpower, which, let's be honest, could be pretty unreliable.
For sure.
So we're kind of like breaking down the science of lasting change
Yeah.
into bite-sized pieces that you can actually use.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let's get to the heart of it. Why bother with these consistent daily habits anyway? It's got to be more than just checking things off a list, right?
It totally is. It's about the long game. It's about recognizing that small intentional actions done consistently over time, those lead to massive growth.
Right, like it's not about this huge overnight transformation. The
Exactly.
material actually contrasts this with the classic New Year's resolution trap.
Oh, yeah.
We've all been there.
Big goals, big disappointment.
Exactly. It's that all-or-nothing thinking that sets us up to fail.
Right, because it feels overwhelming right from the start.
Totally. We set these huge goals on January 1st, and then by like mid-January, we're already slipping back into old habits.
Happens every time.
But what this material emphasizes is that those smaller daily habits, those are way more sustainable.
Way more.
There's this example in the source that really hit home for me. It says that even just 10 minutes of exercise every day is way better in the long run
Oh, yeah.
than those crazy intense workouts that you can never seem to stick with.
Makes sense.
It shows just how powerful consistency truly is.
Right, because it's not about intensity, it's about doing it regularly.
Exactly. And the really cool thing is once these habits become a part of who you are, they basically become automatic.
Right.
Like, think about it from a brain perspective. When you do something over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually strengthening those neural pathways in a part of your brain called the basal ganglia.
That's the habit center of the brain.
Exactly. And that makes the behavior more automatic.
Like you don't even have to think about it.
Right. You don't need as much willpower or conscious decision-making, which, let's face it, we only have so much of.
It's a finite resource.
It's like brushing your teeth. You don't debate with yourself every morning about whether or not you should do it.
It's just automatic.
Exactly. It's just woven into your routine. And this isn't just about physical health,
Right.
which is super important. The material expands on this and talks about how good habits can actually make you mentally sharper, help you get more done at work, and even improve your relationships.
So it's really holistic.
Exactly. It's like leveling up your entire life, not just one part of it.
I like that. Level up your life.
So let's get practical. How do we actually start building these habits?
Well, the source gives us some really solid advice. And the first thing is to start small. It specifically says don't try to be perfect right away.
I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up.
Yeah, aiming for too much too soon.
The key is to just focus on making the habit a daily thing.
Right, consistency over intensity.
Even if it seems super tiny at first, it's about laying the groundwork.
Exactly, you're building those neural pathways.
And this is where the idea of tiny habits comes in. The example in the source is if you want to read more, don't aim for an hour a day right off the bat.
No way.
Start with just 5 minutes.
5 minutes, that's it.
Seriously. It might seem ridiculously small, but that's the whole point.
Yeah, it makes it less intimidating.
Exactly. It makes it so much easier to actually do it. And a lot of times those 5 minutes turn into 10 or 15 anyway.
Because you're already in the flow.
Exactly. And that's what the source points out. That small initial Commitment makes you way less likely to skip it altogether.
Right, there's no excuse.
And as you keep doing it, you build momentum.
You start to feel good about it.
Exactly. And then you can gradually increase the time or intensity later.
It's a snowball effect.
The material also has this great tip. Make it easy to start.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's all about removing any obstacles in your way.
Like reducing fricting.
Exactly. The more roadblocks you have, the less likely you are to actually follow through.
That's so true.
The source gives some really practical examples, like laying out your workout clothes the night before if you want to exercise in the morning.
Yeah, so you're not scrambling around in the morning trying to find stuff.
Exactly. Or keeping your journal on your nightstand if you want to write before bed.
Makes it easy to just grab it and go.
It's about those little things that guide you towards what you want to do and make it less likely to forget or put it off.
Right, it's like setting yourself up for success.
Absolutely. You're making the desired action the easiest choice.
Love that.
Then there's this technique called habit stacking.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Have you tried it?
I have. It's pretty effective.
The source explains it as basically linking a new habit to something you already do regularly.
Like attaching it to an existing routine.
Exactly. The example they give is adding a 2-minute stretching routine right after you brush your teeth.
Okay.
So brushing your teeth is already a habit.
Right, an ingrained one.
So it becomes this trigger for the new habit of stretching.
Makes sense. You're using an existing neural pathway to build a new one.
Precisely. The source also talks about tracking your progress. They suggest using habit tracker apps or even just a simple calendar. Why is tracking so important?
Well, because it shows you how far you've come. It's like a visual reminder of your commitment, and it's incredibly motivating to actually see those streaks and accomplishments, you know? It keeps you accountable.
Like you can't lie to yourself about whether or not you did it.
Exactly, and it taps into that part of us that wants to stay consistent and not break the chain.
There's something so satisfying about seeing those days all lined up where you did the thing you said you were going to do.
Yeah, it feels good.
And then the material reminds us to celebrate small wins.
I love that.
It's all about recognizing those milestones. Like if you manage to stick to a new habit for a week, even if it's something small.
Right, it doesn't have to be a huge accomplishment.
Exactly. It's about giving yourself a little reward, a little pat on the back.
Or a little dopamine hit.
It's not like a feel-good thing, though. It actually reinforces those neural pathways associated with the habit.
So you're more likely to keep doing it.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered how to build these habits.
The foundation.
But what about making them last? That's where a lot of people struggle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the material acknowledges that.
Right, because it's the long game we're talking about.
It points out that setbacks are going to happen. Life throws, curveballs routines get disrupted.
Things happen.
And we're going to slip up sometimes. It's normal.
Part of the process.
The key message here is to not beat yourself up about it. Don't fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking.
Right. Don't throw in the towel just because you had one bad day.
Exactly. Missing a day doesn't erase all the progress you've made.
It's a tiny blip on the radar.
It's like a little detour, not a complete derailment. And the most important thing is to get back on track as soon as you can.
Yeah, keep that momentum going.
The source also mentions accountability partners. How does having someone else involved help us stick to our habits in the long run?
It adds a layer of support and motivation, you know? It's like having someone in your corner cheering you on.
And keeping you honest.
Definitely. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals and checking in on you, that can be a really powerful motivator.
Makes you less likely to want to let them down.
Exactly. And it's also about sharing the journey, you know? You're not in it alone.
That makes a huge difference. And finally, the source talks about being flexible.
Ah, yes, flexibility.
This goes back to what we were saying about not getting discouraged by setbacks.
Right. It's about adapting and adjusting.
Life is unpredictable. If we try to stick to a rigid routine no matter what, it can actually become a source of stress.
Yeah, you can end up feeling trapped.
And that can lead to just giving up altogether.
Right, because it feels unsustainable.
The material emphasizes that it's okay to be flexible with how and when you do the habit.
As long as you're still focusing on the bigger goal of consistency.
Exactly. It's progress over perfection.
I love that.
Okay, so let's sum it all up. What are the key takeaways from the source for building and maintaining consistent daily habits?
All right, so first and foremost, start small.
Don't try to do too much at once.
Baby steps.
Then make it as easy as possible to actually start the habit.
Remove obstacles. Streamline your environment.
Track your progress.
Stay accountable. See those wins.
Give yourself some credit.
And when it comes to making those habits stick for the long haul, remember, setbacks are normal.
They're going to happen.
Get back on track quickly.
Don't let them derail you.
Find an accountability partner.
Lean on each other for support.
And be flexible.
Adapt and adjust as needed. Amazing. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about that one small habit that you've been wanting to start,
That one thing you know would make a positive difference.
knowing that it's consistency, not intensity, that really matters. What's the tiniest first step you can take today, right now, to start building that foundation for lasting change?
Let's do this.